Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling, and should we see what's going on a lovely island of Fawnhallow today, where we'll be relaxing as per usual. I haven't managed to catch a Honkai Star Rail next patch preview. Not in its entirety, at least. I've seen about half of it, and then the rest of half of it I guess I'll see after this. What else is sort of going on? Good question. Just sort of thinking. I don't know, it's just kind of a weekend, isn't it? Time to play some games, time to relax, time to have a vibe out time. Good evening, everyone. Now in Fawnhallow at 7:28 PM on Friday, May 9th, 2025. Celeste is here. Well, I guess that means there's a meteor shower. I will say, I've gotten some great pulls recently on TCG Pocket. I think I've now collected every EX card in the new pack. It's absolutely unbelievable, by the way, and I wish I took a screenshot of the second one, but I've been the most luckiest thing ever, because of the card I wanted most. I think probably was Lunala. Lunala is one of my favourite legendaries. I love their vibe. Even if they're not that strong, and even though I probably won't play the deck they're used in, because I think it's like a Girantina deck, and I don't really like playing that deck. I think the deck that I'm going with will be the Fromantis Decidui deck. So I guess Decidui was technically the highest one I wanted, and then Leonardo was next, just for flex. And then unbelievably, I opened one of the moon packs, and I got a golden Lunala, and I went, what? That's like 0.4% chance or something, 0.04%, I can't remember, it's insanely low. This is like the second golden card I've ever gotten. First one being a golden Pokeball, which is a pretty nice one. And no joke, I think it was in the next pack, or maybe only like 4 or 5 packs afterwards, I did like a temple, because I had like hourglasses saved up on the Sun version, and no joke, one of the packs, this is it, is one of the packs I opened the immersive Lily card, and I went, whoa, that's crazy. The next pack, the first card was the golden Lunala card, and I went, what? I didn't even know you could get it in this pack. And then I, tilted it to the sides as you can in Pokemon, and I saw, oh, there's something else rare in this pack as well, and it was another immersive Lily card, and I went, what? I should have absolutely screenshotted it, and I'm sad I didn't. I screenshotted something else, which was very lucky. Anyway, what else was also super lucky? Oh, I screenshotted when I tilted it to the side, and you can see the border of the Lily card, but I didn't actually screenshot the Lily card and stuff. Oh, that was it. When I opened that golden Lunala, the one before, there wasn't a Lily, sorry, it was a Lunala EX, and I went, what the heck is going on? It was the most ridiculous battle flag I ever had. And not only did that happen, but today I was like, oh, I think I've only got one EX left, and it's Redalmi's EX. It's not one that I'm going to play, so I don't actually, it's not a big deal if I get it or not. And I have enough points that I could exchange for it if I wanted to, but it's more for completion purposes. And then no joke, this morning I opened a pack. After yesterday, I already got another one of the Crabhammer EXs. Or maybe, yeah, another one of the Crabhammer EX. I think the 2-star version. I was like, what is going on? This morning, I opened up one of the packs, and it was a Delmi's EX, and I went, what the heck is going on? It's like the opposite. Well, it's like the desire sense is actually coming true. It's like what I want to get, I actually did get, and I was like, that's crazy. So I guess the only thing I really want now is, well, I've got some 3-stars left to get from these packs, but I guess the only like rare card I want is the Lunala EX card. So a Lunala EX immersive card, because it's really pretty. I think Wishy Washy EX immersive will be cool as well, but I'm probably not going to play that deck. I mean, I'm not going to play the Lunala one, but I'm just for the flex, if anything. So yeah, I haven't actually had much time to actually play the stuff in this deck. But it's enough time that the meta's not stabilised, but people have found out like some good variations of decks. And turns out the best Decidui one is not the Serena one, or the Beedrill version, it's apparently the Fromantis version, so I was like, alright, fair enough. I mean, I like Fromantis and Lurantis. That's what it's called, right? Lurantis, Fromantis? I can't remember. Lurantis. Yeah, Lurantis. So yeah, I had a particularly lucky pool session, I suppose, with that. Very much surprised me. And I went, oh, okay. Pleasantly surprised. Make sure I just stretch my back. Don't, whatchamacallit, shrimp, as they say. Yeah. What do we can talk about? That's like our 5-minute chat. Was there much in the way of? Well, I mean, we only had one D&D session this week because of a pub quiz on Monday. How did that go? It was okay. We did surprisingly alright, I think. I think we came 8th out of 11th, but like the difference between 11th place and first place was literally like 10 points. Everyone was so unbelievably close to each other. So I think we were like 5 points out from first or something. 5 points, which maybe like I think there were 2 or 3 points I definitely could have gotten, but like it would have been unreasonable. There were like low percent chance. Like one of them was like who directed Poor Things, and I was like, I heard of this movie. I know Mark Ruffalo's in it. And I was like, I have no idea what this movie's about, who else is in it. I have no idea who directed it. So I was like, the best guess I got is maybe Mark Ruffalo also directed it. And then I looked it up afterwards and I was like, oh, I do know this movie. I recognise the movie art for the trailer. Not for the trailer, for the movie cover. And if I saw that, then maybe I could have put together that it was Yorgos Lanthimos who directed it, because I do know him as a director and he does all these weird things like The Lobster or whatever as well. But the honest answer is I probably would not have remembered. I don't even know what that movie's about, by the way. I have no idea what any Yorgos Lanthimos movie is about. To be honest, I don't know if anyone does. I do remember though, like The Lobster. I had a friend in secondary school, who was really into, like, I would describe him as he loves sort of like artsy directional things. Like I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up being like either a photographer or a movie director of some kind. And he has a great appreciation for the abstract and the obscure. And I remember he kept telling me about this movie called The Lobster, and how a lot of people were just, when they were like reviewing it, or like the general consensus is like people don't really get it or whatever. But he really liked it. And I remember at the time, I think it was like The Lobster and The Lighthouse. Is that the other one? Is that also Yorgos? No, it can't be The Lighthouse. That doesn't make sense. That's 2019. Is that also? That's Robert Eggers anyway. Maybe it was just The Lobster, which was 2015. Yeah, it was like a very absurdist movie. I remember him talking about it. My friend, that is. And I remember, it's funny to think back to it, because I had no concept of what this movie was. And seeing like the trailer, I suppose, like years later, and seeing the description, seeing it's one of Yorgos Lanthimos, now makes me go, oh, okay. This is not what I expected. I don't know what I expected in my mind. I guess in my mind I expected it to be like a black and white sort of like 1950s movie, where it's just like, I don't know, vaguely on the abstract and was experimental, I suppose, for a movie of that time. But as I understand, The Lobster is something just like you go to, if they're like at a hotel, they need to find a partner, or they get turned into an animal, and this guy's going to get turned into a lobster or something like that. I mean, would that be a movie I enjoy? I don't know. Quite possibly. I mean, I can see myself getting down with some Yorgos Lanthimos films. Very sort of border on the strange and absurd, maybe. I'm not sure if I'm straight absurd is what I like. I think whimsical is probably what I like. I mean, I always say I've not seen all of Wes Anderson's movies, but the few I have seen, I've very much enjoyed. Which is like Grand Budapest Hotel. And I've seen like a decent amount of Fantastic Mr. Fox, but not actually the entire thing, I think. Isle of Dogs I need to see as well. Is it actually just Grand Budapest? Maybe it's just Grand Budapest Hotel. I feel like I've watched another Wes Anderson one, but looking at these names, they're not familiar, so maybe I don't remember it that well. But yeah, I don't know. Yorgos Lanthimos? Who else is a famous director? Like Ari Aster, right? who I also, for some reason, in my mind, is the voice of someone, but I'm pretty sure I'm getting Ari Aster confused with someone else. Or Ari Aster does Hereditary Midsummer, of course. Duh. I was like, hold on, I'm getting myself way too confused here. Who is that voice? Voice actor of Mo Burns? Is that what I think it is? Hank Azaria. That was it. I don't even think he is Mo. No, he is Mo. Wait, is his name... Wait. Simpsons Mo. Oh. Mo Sislak. I don't know how you say... It's a Polish surname, right? How do you say it? Define... How to pronounce...
Sislak.
Sislak, okay. Thank you, Google. I don't know, no, directors are interesting. Because I feel like I'm not enough of a movie buff to know enough directors by name. There's a lot of... I feel like all my directorial knowledge is something I've gained via osmosis from Northern Nine. Who is... You know, I mean, he's a huge movie buff, essentially. He just has an encyclopedic knowledge of a ridiculous amount of movies and directors and actors and actresses. And he watches lots, which is, like, totally fair. But I'm not a movie buff. So, like, the only movie things I tend to know are, like, I kind of know about, like, Disney movies and animation movies. And I know the big titles, of course. But apart from that, I'm, like, not really in the know-how for whatever the heck's going on. So, I feel like definitely quite a few years ago, I'm not even sure if I'd be able to give you, like, a name of a director. Actually, I probably could because of Quentin Tarantino. But if it weren't for Quentin Tarantino, I'd be like, I don't really know many directors at all. Nor what they're, like, known for, what their trademarks are, etc., etc. But nowadays, I think, certainly I know a little bit more. I know Ari Aster, Yorgos Lanthimos, and Wes Anderson. Maybe that's good enough, maybe that's not, I don't know. But yeah, it's interesting because they're like, I think some people are going to be like, oh, directors are kind of like even more famous than the actors in it. But I think for a majority of people, like, aren't the actors kind of like the faces of a film, which is interesting because I'm not here to discredit the actors or anything like that. I think the actors should be appreciated. But it's interesting how some other professions end up being much more of a face or representative of something than other parts of a profession are. Because, I mean, there's a lot that goes into movie creation. I mean, not only do you have the director, but you also have, like, the writers as well who need to write the scripts. And, you know, they're the ones who sort of set the basis for what a character should be. And it's the actor who delivers it to us, isn't it? There's also, you know, like set designers and costume designers who are, like, fit together in the world or something that you are to be immersed in. But there's not, like, I guess it's, I mean, the benefit, I suppose, of being an actor, being the fact that you're in the limelight, people remember your face and your name because that's the one that they see when they watch a movie. While people do see the costume or whatever, they don't, it's hard to, I suppose, necessarily tie a name to that costume. Because I'm like, I don't think I could, this is probably bad for me, if anything, but I don't think I can name you a single costume designer. I don't know if I can name you like a famous set designer or anything like that. I'm sure if you're an actual, like, interest in movies or you're perhaps more caught up with pop culture than I am, then probably you could, but I don't know. Sometimes it almost feels like a bit embarrassing that I can't. It feels like I should be able to, but I just can't. I don't even know how you begin to learn these sort of things. I guess you just sort of look it up. You'd be like, oh, I really liked, you know, the look of the costumes in this movie or something. I wonder who directed it or who was in charge of the costuming. I feel like if you are into movies, if you're into that sort of genre thing, I'm certain this goes for many hobbies as well, to be honest. Then you would like know costume designers like that. Maybe not like all of them, but you would know like the big names or the notable ones in one way or another, right? I guess it's kind of a blessing and a curse, but I assume you do go into the business understanding that the actors are the ones who, I mean, you go into acting for not necessarily for stardom, but I feel like there must be part of you that desires that sort of stardom in a sense. Acting really is one of the most sort of like put in the limelight roles possible. And I guess apologies, a big jump cut there. I don't really remember what I was talking about. Ow, I just punched my fist into the desk. I think it was something about Stardom and oh yeah, it was something about like actors and actresses being the face of a movie, but then like if you have a costume designer, you know, people, the general populace doesn't know your name. Oh, I remember what I was saying now. And then I was just like, you know, the rather judgmentally, patronisingly, I was going to be like, I wonder if that's like an enviable position to be in, and sort of thing like, oh, you know, I put all this work in costumes, and then it's like, oh, but you know, I didn't get any of the credit or something for it in that sense. But at the same time, it's sort of like, we're going to ignore the people who are doing it just to get famous or whatever, but presumably, you know, it's all about the craft and being able to show off that craft, like how acting is showing off your acting craft, which is basically the way you can move and speak and deliver yourself, right? While, you know, costume work would be, you know, the costumes that you make and design, and seeing the outfits on screen is kind of a reward in its own sense there. It's just more of a shame that those sort of things are not necessarily associated with the people as much. Because obviously with acting, it's difficult to act without the person, I suppose, so there's always going to be an inherent link between person and actor, right? Or craft and person, I should say. It's perhaps a better way to put it. But with, you know, like costume, set design, etc., writing, it's always going to be, you know, a level of disconnect from it. But at the same time, maybe it's, I think, you know, assumptuous of me to be like, oh, you know, everyone must want this association between the craft that they work and the name itself, rather than the appreciation of the craft itself. Because I think for a lot of creatives, it comes from the joy of actually being able to create something in the first place is the actual reward in itself. I mean, there's also a reward of, you know, of course, getting a a monetary value from it to be able to, you know, sustain and carry that on. And, you know, recognition is always nice and appreciative. But I think, if anything, perhaps I'm thinking or not actually thinking this way, but talking about it in a very one-dimensional way, in a sense which is sort of reduces it down in a way which is not necessarily applicable to most people. Maybe, you know, there's probably people out there who know a lot more costume and set designers than I necessarily do. There's probably a lot of costume and set designers who are just like, no, I don't want to be associated with a name and face. I want to just make the great work. Or maybe they're like, yeah, okay, well, maybe not everyone will know me, but people in the industry do, and that's who it matters to me. And I'm like, okay, fair enough, you know. Or, I don't know. Maybe people want it, maybe people don't. I guess it's not really my place to say, seeing as that's not my industry, or anything which I know what I'm talking about. If anything, you know, maybe it just goes to show that I should pay more attention when it comes to like the credits on movies. You know, if I really like a costume design in a movie, I should look out for a costume designer in the movie, in the credits, and be like, alright, let's go look at what other stuff they worked on. Do they have that at IMDb? For things like costume designers, set designs, etc., etc.? Because, I mean, directors, certainly, and writers, I think so as well. I think screenplays on IMDb. What about all the other stuff? It's mainly just, I mean, I guess at the end of the day, it's meant to be like an actor repository, isn't it? So I guess it'd be presumptuous for me to be like, oh, you should start covering other things as well. Well, I guess it's technically a movie repository. I don't know, why don't we try? Final Destination Bloodlines, let's see. Do we have a costume designer on here? Staff picks, okay, not really what I was going for. I just kind of, clown in a cornfield? I just want a movie, sure, Midsummer. Production info IMDb Pro. Oh, is this it? I guess I had to log in. There's no way I can do it for free? To be able to just... Okay, so I guess IMDb do have a thing where you can see exactly who's worked on what. I just can't see it. I don't know, can I zap it away? Does that work? I don't know. I don't want to zap elements anymore. Please disable the zapping. Please bring back the cursor. We've zapped away too many things. Okay, never mind then. Excuse me. Oh no, we zap, and then we get X out of zapping. Oh, we can't click on it. Oh no, wait, do I need to zap the entire screen now? Oh, well it gets rid of everything, but I can't click on the links, such as filmmakers and stuff. I can click on the other movies though, and Florence Pugh, and the actresses and actors. Okay, well I guess, you know, shows what I know. IMDb Pro, it is a thing already. Anyway, alright now I guess I'll round this episode off here, because who knows what else I'm talking about. So, if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again, but for now it's our farewell. So until next time, bye bye for now.